going on, people? So I don't know who all else was trying to check up on the raffle reveal results last night and see how this whole thing played out. But if you were out there with me and 313 and whoever else, you saw a bit of a mess, right? But in the end, it did work out, so that's all that really matters. Because I was thinking if I don't pull off one of these raffles, that means that for one, I wasted a whole bunch of flex points earlier in the week. And for two, it's going to be a fairly busy morning, which kind of sucks because it was a double release morning, at least for some of us, Yeezys and whatnot. Anyways, so luckily things did work out, but even if they hadn't, if I had to go through all the websites and stuff this morning, it looks like it still would have worked out just fine because I was able to make an order for someone else for a grade school pair because I was trying to help out 313, though in the end she was able to get her own, so I'm going to cancel that. And then I was able to look on Finish Line, and even those sizes, they had a whole bunch of them available, men's sizes, were still going straight to cart, and people are checking out left and right? So it's almost as if they were just letting everybody get their orders in, like a pre-order or something, and take all those and then know how many shoes to make. Speaking of pre-orders, if you're like a Ninja Turtles person or whatever, Super Shredder is on the NECA site right now, along with the Casey Jones Raphael Disguised, of course, 2-pack. So I'd highly suggest checking that out because they're really top-notch figures. Anyways, I was able to get in there and see all that. So it looks like had I not won this raffle, things would have still been fine. The one thing that would have been nice is to have won this raffle at the same store where I run those 5s. Because I did get an email from Yankee Candle yesterday, and they're like, hey, we're doing this clearance sale. And I'm like, man, I'm trying to get in on that, right? And there's not one in the MacArthur Center. But there is one back up in Newport News, though that also means I would have possibly had to go in there and have some awkward interaction with that girl again. And I'm going to walk in there and her be like, oh, look, looks like Raj came back. And what do you want? You want more candles? And I'd be like, yes, I do. I heard they're on sale, and I would like more candles, please. But I was able to avoid that, which is good. So now we're able to knock out this review today instead of waiting for it to be shipped and all that good stuff. So let's go ahead and pull this box out because this is what matters right now. So across the top, right, you got some kind of Indigo Jumpman logo thing going on, which is a nice touch. On the side, you've got that kind of thing going on where you see all the stuff that you normally see. But then on the back, you see a thing that you don't normally see. So that is saying quality inspired by the greatest player ever. So kind of a nice touch. I like when they add a little bit of presentation to the box. They're not just, here's the same one we've used for the last 4 years, have at it. Don't get me wrong, it's what's in the box that matters. And we're about to find out what's in this box. But sometimes the presentation is a cool thing. They even put this little card in here, so there's that for you. Then on the side, or on the back, you've got that, which says, the beauty of imperfection fades to perfection. Indigo is among the oldest dyes to be used for textile dyeing and printing. The oldest known fabric dyed indigo dates back more than 6,000 years ago. No two pieces are alike. We embrace those differences with time and use. The depth and fade of the indigo will reveal a look that's unique to you. So there's that for you. What's under this? I was talking to McFly about it the other day. I'm curious, right? So there aren't going to be any, well, if I find some pictures or whatever, I'll slip those in at some point. But I don't know what's under these things. They're looking pretty decent though. Not too bad, not too bad. So, and then pull out this other one here. And look at this again. This said Stone Blue, Legend Blue, huh? Okay, that's whatever. Not sure which one is which, but let's go ahead and look things over, make sure everything's looking like it's supposed to look. Nothing too crazy. Let's push this thing back down in there. So let's go ahead and get this review going on these Stone Blue and Legend Blue 12s, which means it is now review time on this right here, the Air Jordan 12 in Stone Blue and something else blue. I already forgot it, but we're just going to go with Indigo because that's what people keep saying. Anyways, we're going to kick this review off at the bottom, so there's that for you. Now, what you're going to see down here, on the front and on the back, you got some kind of like an obsidian blue thing going on. In the middle area, you've got the grid stuff that you see on pretty much all 12s. This whole thing looks like a standard 12, right? Obviously. But you've got the grid thing going on there with some black and white, and then across the tip of the toe area, you've got the Jumpman and the 23 in that UNC blue, also known as McFly blue as far as I'm understanding. And then moving on to the midsole here, you've got a lot of the same stuff that you've seen on probably every other 12, though the differences seem to be in the materials used. So out here on the lateral side, if you will, you're gonna see the mudguard, and I don't know what's going on out there, but I'm not a huge fan of it. You're gonna see the mudguard here with this white leather going on, and the leather is feeling pretty good actually. To the touch, I'm liking it. I'm not gonna say it's amazing quality, maybe it's not, but it feels good. And then under that, you've got the Jumpman here. It's kind of a sort of just plain plastic sort of thing going on. Nothing premium like some of those other 12s, like the plates and whatnot. And then of course, behind that on the heel area, you've got a slightly darker blue than what you have on the upper. Not sure which blue is which as far as I'm concerned. They're all the same, it's just blue. We're just gonna go with that. And then when you look over here on the medial side, you see pretty much the same thing, just a little bit smaller. And so now let's go ahead and take a look at the upper, because that's where things start to matter a little bit more, at least in my opinion. So around the toe box area, right, hit you guys with this little close-up and whatnot. So down there, what you're gonna see is the same thing that you see across the whole rest of the shoe, all the way through to the back, because that blue pretty much takes over the whole upper, right? 12s are generally like pretty solid as far as that goes, right? Not a whole lot of variation, though there is a little bit of a slight change when you look at the stitching, because that's kind of a slightly lighter blue again, kind of along those UNC sort of vibes. Now, this whole thing, as far as the feel of it goes, it almost feels like a better version of the Bulls 12s from late 2018. Because I don't know what was up with those. I was fine with them, but this feels like it just feels better. But that's probably partly because it's the whole rub away thing. And now, moving on past that, we're gonna just take it on to the back here. So we got the Jordan thing on the back, inspired by the greatest player ever, with that slightly lighter blue that matches up with what you see across the front out here on the laces. So the laces and the back, pretty much the same color. And then behind those laces, which are just your standard rope laces that you see on pretty much every other Jordan 12, you've got the 2-3 along the tongue, and at the top, you've got yet another Jumpman, because again, what's a Jordan without a Jumpman? So, next to those though, you've got the only other color on this shoe, which is silver, and these little lace holder things. I think it's a nice touch, kind of gives it a nice little pop, you know, because otherwise it'd be a little too plain, right? At least in my opinion. So that silver, while small, is just enough, right? It's those little details that you gotta work on sometimes to really make something make sense, or at least make it stand out anyway. So you got that going on. Now let's go ahead and finish this upper off, right? Up here on the inside, on the insole there, you're gonna see the standard Jumpman that you always see in the same color as was on the bottom of the shoe, and the rest of it is an insole that looks to be about the same color as what you see on the sock liner, possibly a slight bit darker. Now, as far as the sock liner goes, it doesn't seem like it's anything amazing. I mean, it feels pretty nice, don't get me wrong, but I wouldn't say, dude, you gotta feel this sock liner. Wear the shoes with no socks, it feels that good. I would never say that, because wearing shoes without socks is just freaking weird to me. Anyways, so that's just that. I think we've covered everything, and like I said, I can't talk too much about what's under here because I don't know what's under here. And according to that card, it's going to be different for pretty much everybody because it's unique. So if I happen to find pictures, there will have been pictures across the screen, and hopefully I have talked long enough to let those pictures play out. That's how that often works. Now, the next part that we have to talk about is the sizing and whatnot. So let's go ahead, get some videos in here and all that good stuff, so that way you guys can see what these are looking like, and I'll give you my idea of how they fit and all that good stuff. Now, as far as I'm concerned, like 12s are a little bit big, right? So I bought these in an 8.5 because normally I would buy 9 as far as Jordans go, and that tends to work out pretty well for me. It also works out for some people that I know. Does it work out for you? I don't know. Unless you're one of those people that I just said that it does work out for, then sure, whatever. If you're a stranger, like one of those new subscribers I did recently hit 3,000, so that's cool. then maybe, you might want to get a second opinion just to be sure, right? So that's just something I want to put out there. But I am going to say that they fit a little big and to go down half a size. Now, past that, as far as the comfort and whatnot, the comfort of Jordans, it's not even a topic to talk about, right? Because it's just not there. Are they terrible? No. But is it great? Of course not. It's something to keep your foot off of being on the bare ground, I guess. But that's about it. I mean, because at the end of the day, you're talking about some technology from what, 96, right? And besides, who's really wearing these things for the comfort nowadays anyway? You wear it because it looks pretty decent, right? So that's how that goes, at least as far as I'm concerned. If you have the same feeling, great. If you don't, I don't know what to tell you other than maybe find another review that talks more about the comfort of Jordans, if there are any out there. At least as far as older ones, that's kind of scarce. But anyways, I think that I've covered everything that there is to talk about on this shoe. I'll give you a quick little recap of my own personal thoughts though. I do like this. The feeling of it is a little bit different than what I expected because I didn't really think it through, but it makes sense now that I know, okay, yeah, it is a rubber wave fabric, which I've never had before, but it does make sense. That's why it feels that way. But the visual of it though, that piece of it, that's top notch as far as I'm concerned. But I'm also a little biased in that 12s are my favorite Jordan, possibly my favorite overall shoe. I don't know, right? There's a couple Air Maxes that might give them some competition for that spot. But anyways, other than that, I think we've covered everything. I think I've successfully made my way through this review. You guys will be the judges of that. Speaking of judges, tonight there's going to be a sneaker battle and stuff, right? So the details are on the internet. So if you have access to that, you have access to the details. All right, past that, I think we're good. So I'm just going to wrap this up. Have a nice rest of your day or rest of your night, whatever it is, wherever you are. I'll be back with more videos at some point, and then maybe you'll be back to watch them. We'll figure it out together, people. All right, later.